So, hello class. Let us start the next property of the nitrogen family. The last property that is called reactivity towards metals. Actually, some of the last lectures was totally based on the different properties of the nitrogen family. As you know that how nitrogen react with halogens, react with hydrogens, react with oxygen. And now we have to be discussed about the reactivity of nitrogen towards metals. I think reactivity towards halogen is also left. So let's discuss about nitrogen family, how they react with halogens and metals. Simply, you should see that the first category, how nitrogen family react with halogens. Generally, they form two different types of halides. Generally, they form two different types of halides called trihalides and pentahalides. Trihalides and pentahalides with a general structure. With the general structure, you can see in trihalides, the structure is similar to the structure of ammonia. That is called pyramidal structure. With a one lone pair with a central element. And in pentahalides, the structure refers to a trigonal bipyramidal structure. All 5 valencies is satisfied here. Except nitrogen, other elements can form pentahalides. So you can see that there will be a NCl3, PCl3, PCl5, PCl5, PBr3, PI3, and PBr5 and PI5. Students, learn one thing first. As we know that moving down the group, the trivalent oxidation number is stable. That's why phosphorus is easily formed pentahalides. But as we move down the group, the rest of the element will not form easily the pentahalides because of the low stability of pentahalides moving down the group. As arsenic, antimony, and bismuth, they generally form the trihalides only. The pentahalides are very unstable at room temperature. That's why phosphorus easily form the trihalides as well as the pentahalides. But when we actually discussing about bismuth, arsenic, or antimony, they generally form a trihalides and structures are similar to the structure of EX3. In all three trihalides of nitrogen NF3 is actually stable. In all trihalides of nitrogen, NF3 known to be stable, and others are not stable because of low extent of overlapping of their orbitals. The other trihalides of nitrogens are not actually so much stable at a room temperature. But NF3, due to a large extent of overlapping of their orbitals, they actually known to be stable at a given condition. Next property you have to be deal with in pentahalides. in pentahalides, any element like phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, any halides like phosphorus, arsenic, and antimony, actually they not easily hybridize the 5 different orbitals. Always the lowest stability refers to the 2 different things. The lowest stability refers to the 2 different things. The first thing is the low extent of overlapping or low ability of hybridization of the halogen family elements. The other reason is the bond dissociation enthalpy. Actually, as we move down the group, in halogens, you can see PCl5, PBr5, and PI5. Suppose we have to be compared. Suppose we have to be compared with the stability. We have to be called that PCl5 will be a rather much stable than PBr5 or PI5 because of the large size of bromide and large size of iodide ions, which cannot be easily hybridized by phosphorus. And the also reason is the bond dissociation enthalpy is much low. The bond dissociation enthalpy is much low. Bromine and iodine, that is the higher in size, large in size, which cannot be easily accommodated by a phosphorus element, and that will decrease the stability. That will decrease the stability of the pentahalides, and that is the reason why PCl5 is stable, but PBr5 and PBI5 is actually not stable at the condition of the room temperature and pressure. So stability, always you have to focus on the only 2 things. The one thing, if the size of element will increases, the size of element will be increases or anion will increase, that will not be stabilized at a temperature. The other thing is the bond enthalpy. The bond enthalpy of the molecules, the different parts of the molecules is also low, then molecule will not be stable at the condition. So NH3 is stable because of large extent of overlapping. PCl3 is stable because phosphorus easily can hybridize the 3-chlorine. PCl5 is stable because phosphorus can form PCl5 easily. PBr5 not stable because of low extent of overlapping, large size of bromide ion and large size of iodide ion. So these are the some reason why they are not stable at the conditions. We have to be study about the reactivity of nitrogen family with metals. Actually class, with metals nitrogen family always will show a predominantly oxidation number that will be a -3. The predominant oxidation number will be a -3. That is called nitride, phosphide, arsenide. These are all elements having a high tendency to show a -3 oxidation number with the metals. As you can see, we have suppose calcium, we have magnesium suppose, or we have sodium. They are reactive metals, they are active metals. So whenever these metals react with a nitrogen family like nitrogen or phosphorus especially, they must be formed ionic molecule. They must be formed generally ionic molecules. Like example is, suppose with nitrogen Ca3N2, like phosphorus Ca3P2, that is called calcium nitride, calcium phosphide. Calcium nitride, calcium phosphide. Same way, sodium nitride, potassium nitride, sodium phosphide. All these are called metal nitrides or phosphides. Metal nitrides or phosphides. So generally, the metals form ionic compounds with a nitrogen family because of very high metallic character, and nitrogen phosphorus predominantly they show the -3 oxidation number in their compounds with metals. In their compounds with metals. That is all about the general properties. That is all about the general properties. We have to be discuss about the one molecules. The chapter is actually moving towards, the chapter is now moving towards the study of different molecules or compounds related to the nitrogen family. And the first compound is, I think, first compound is dinitrogen. We have to be study about dinitrogen. So let's study. Let's study about dinitrogen. Nitrogen gas is actually inert at room temperature because of very high bond enthalpy, which is 941.4 kilojoule per mole. So at room temperature, it is a very less reactive, almost inert. But as we increase the temperature, the reactivity increases sharply and will react with the different molecules of the gaseous molecule present in the air. And they form the different molecules. They also react with the metals, as we are called metallic nitride. But let us study about how we can prepare dinitrogen. Actually, dinitrogen can be prepared in laboratory by this method. The preparation is if we react ammonium chloride with sodium nitrite, we can get the nitrogen gas. And what will be another thing? Nitrogen gas, then I think NaCl, and I think water molecule. When ammonium chloride react with sodium nitrite, the nitrogen gas with water molecule and NaCl they form. These are the molecules, and we can get nitrogen gas. But the question is, sometimes they ask about during a formation of nitrogen gas with ammonium chloride and sodium nitrite, some impurities are the result, like nitric oxide and nitric acid. How can we remove the impurities present along with this reaction? How can we remove the impurities? Actually, to remove these impurities, all gases must be passed through the sulfuric acid contain potassium dichromate. Sulfuric acid and potassium dichromate combinedly can remove the traces of impurities present of that nitric oxide and nitric acid along with that nitrogen gas. So we can just purify the nitrogen gas by passing sulfuric acid containing potassium dichromate. This is the one of the method of preparation. We can prepare the same nitrogen gas. By some decomposition reactions. Like a decomposition of dichromates also. Ammonium dichromate, potassium dichromate, sodium dichromate. But let's see, ammonium dichromate can be thermally decomposed to form generally Ammonium dichromate thermally can decompose to form nitrogen gas along with a chromic oxide. So I think you can write that reaction by your own. The simple thermal decomposition reaction of ammonium dichromate that will gives you a nitrogen gas. But the reaction which is really important, how we can get a purest form of nitrogen gas, and the process is by thermal decomposition of sodium or barium azide. Barium azide, BaB. Ba3 twice, I think. That will be the called barium azide. So can you guess what will be the result? By thermal decomposition of barium azide, are you knowing azide? Actually, azide is the see the structure. This is called barium azide. The anion compound. The anion compound of azide molecule. Azide means when nitrogen combined with itself in a triatomic form. Nitrogen combined with itself in a triatomic form. That is called azide. As oxygen from ozone molecule, the same nitrogen from azide molecule. So by thermal decomposition of barium azide, we can actually form a purest form of nitrogen gas. The barium metal and nitrogen gas are separated on thermal decomposition. Same way, we can get the nitrogen gas by simple thermal decomposition. Simple thermal decomposition of sodium azide also. Sometime in board, they ask to complete the reaction from P block and they are given the reaction of barium azide, how they will give the nitrogen gas. So you have to mind how we can get the nitrogen gas from azide like barium, sodium, potassium, calcium, and other. Active metals generally form azide, and on thermal decomposition, they actually gives the nitrogen gas, which is called a purest nitrogen we have. Purest nitrogen we have. So we can get all these process. We can get nitrogen by all these processes. By thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate, by the reaction of ammonium chloride with sodium nitrite, by the thermal decomposition of barium azide or a sodium azide. This is called a method of preparation. Now we have to move towards the properties. As we know the physical property, a very low solubility of nitrogen gas because of the same reason, a very low van der Waals force between nitrogen molecules, a very high value of Henry constant at a given temperature. So nitrogen gas is a very low soluble, as you can say, a sprangly soluble in water. Sprangly soluble in water because of high Henry constant value. Low reactivity of nitrogen because of high bond enthalpy, that is 941.4 kilojoule per mole. Melting point and boiling point is also very, very low because of the same reason. London force, the dispersion force exists between the molecules. Whenever there is a weakest force between the molecule, the boiling point and melting point down, and a very low melting point and boiling point they have, which have. So colorless, odorless, low solubility, low boiling point gas, that is called dinitrogen, and much less reactive at room temperature, but react with the gaseous molecules with the metals as we increase the temperature rapidly. So nitrogen easily react with like metals like lithium. We have many reactions like lithium, magnesium. So you can form your own reaction. Lithium with nitrogen, magnesium with nitrogen, or with other metals like sodium, like potassium, like calcium, like a barium, how they react with nitrogen, they form nitrite. They form nitrite, as we discussed in the last part. Last section was based on reaction of nitrogen family with metals. Same way, you can form now lithium. They will give lithium nitride, Li3N. Li3N. Same way, the other like a magnesium, you can form now. Magnesium nitride. You can balance the reactions. You can balance the reaction. Even the Haber's process, the production of ammonia on a large scale, also based on the same process with reaction of nitrogen with hydrogen. Reaction of nitrogen this is called Haber's process. This is called Haber's process when nitrogen react with hydrogen. This is reversible reaction and we have to be studied because there is a topic. The next topic is ammonia. So we have to be study how the ammonia is formed by Haber's process and what are the optimum conditions on which we can get a high efficient ammonia with the help of nitrogen and hydrogen. So we will deal with that same reaction in the next part. So this is also one of the chemical property of nitrogen. Exothermic process, about 41 kilojoule per mole energy released during the process. And next, at very high temperature, the nitrogen also react with oxygen to form nitric oxide. These are some chemical properties that you have to be go with. How the nitrogen react with metals, how the nitrogen react with non-metals or hydrogen gases, and how the nitrogen react with oxygen at very high temperature, and we will get a nitric oxide. This is all about the nitrogen. Next part will be ammonia. And today we try to discuss about the reactivity of the metal with nitrogen family and the different reaction of nitrogen. You can get the screen. You can take a screenshot also. Two or three reactions are very important actually. Class. The thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate, that will give you nitrogen gas along with chromic oxide. You can balance the reaction. What will be the other product? By the decomposition of ammonium dichromate? I think you are getting the formula now. You are getting the formula. Ammonium dichromate. What will be the formula? Ammonium dichromate. Cr2O7, NH4 twice Cr2O7, ammonium dichromate. Our decomposition, we can get nitrogen, chromic oxide, and water. This is another reaction, but you have to be learn your own also. Just practice all the given reaction in organic. All are very important actually. So thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate and barium and sodium azide, that is most important reaction from this section. Try to be practice all these reactions given. And Haber's process will be important, but in a section of ammonia. So we will deal with there also. We will deal the reaction there. So I am concluding my lecture here only. In the next lecture, tomorrow, we will discuss about Haber's process and ammonia preparation and properties. The full lecture will be based on only ammonia. Only one topic will take tomorrow, that is ammonia. So first revise also. Before coming in the lecture, you should revise what will be the next topic, so that can be easily understandable in the lecture. So, bye.